Hi Stephen, how are you? So, apologise if the sound quality is not great on this. I'm not in an ideal place to record, but hopefully this will give you some benefit. So, okay, in this video we're going to go through finding the area and perimeter of different shapes. So, okay, we're going to start off with the area of rectangles. So if you imagine if we try and find the area, so what area is, it's basically the amount of mini squares in a shape. So for example, if we want to find how many centimeters squared is in a rectangle, we would count how many centimeter squares there is. So for example, if we have a 5 by 3 rectangle here, where we have 5 and then 3, we can count up the amount of squares in this rectangle to get 15 square centimeters, okay? And what that is it's the length times the width, or the width by the length. Okay, so if you want to work out these, so you can pause the video and try and do this yourself. So here, the area of this rectangle would be 6 by 2, which is 12 squares, okay? And this one is 3 times 3, which is 9 centimeters squared. Okay, so there are your answers for that one. And if you want to do these two now, and then pause the video and press play again when you have it done. So the area of this shape here would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5 by 5 sets of squares, which is 25 square centimeters. Or this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one has 24 centimeters squared. Okay, and here we have our answers for those ones, okay? Now note, in the exam, you could write square centimeters, but it's better to write the way that you usually write, centimeters and then to the power of 2, so centimeters and then squared. Okay, so we'll move on now to just normal rectangles, and we're not given the little small cubes. So this is how you'd normally find the area of a rectangle. You'd have to imagine almost this length of 8 here is split up into 8 different cubes, and then 3 here, if that makes any sense. So, okay, try and figure out what the area of this rectangle would be, and the area of this rectangle. Okay, so if you imagine this has 8 by 3, if you go back here, this would have like an 8 by 3 grid. So you could fit 24 square centimeters in here. And likewise, it's the length by the width, so this is going to be 7 times 5, which is 35 square centimeters. Okay, and we'll do the last one here, so you get the idea, I'm sure. Find the area of these two then. So this one is going to be 9 times 2, which is 18. And this one is going to be 8 times 5, which is 40. Okay, so that's finding the area. So you can think of area as how many small cubes fit inside. Okay, and now we'll move on to perimeter. So this worksheet doesn't actually have perimeter explicitly, but that's fine, we can figure it out. So perimeter then is, if you imagine you were to walk around the outer edge of the rectangle, how far would you go? So for example, could you find the perimeter of the first one? If you were to start at this corner and walk all the way around, what distance would you have travelled? So this is different now, this is the perimeter. So in this case, it would be 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3. So I don't have the ideal tools to write here, but if you imagine, it would be 8 and then we plus 3, and then we go 8 again, and then finally to finish off we go plus 3. So that would be 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 8 is 14, 14 plus 8 is 22. So the perimeter, I'll just call it P for perimeter, is 22 centimeters. Okay, it might be getting a bit noisy in the background there, so sorry. Okay, moving on. Let's see, how do we get out of this? Okay. So, knowing that now, could you find the perimeter of these two shapes here? Pause the video and try and get it yourself. And remember to include the units in your answer. So if it's meters, say meters. If it's centimeters, say meters. Say centimeters. Okay, so if we were to find the perimeter of this one, it should be 9. Let me just get a pen. It should be 9. Oh, there we are. So 9 plus 2, so that's 18. Plus 9. So what's 18 plus 9? That's 27. Plus 2 is 29. And is this meters or is this meters squared? Well, be careful. So if we're getting distance, it's just meters. So it's going to be 27. Sorry, did I do that wrong? Sorry, 9 plus 2 is 11. Plus 9 is 20, plus 2 is 22, sorry. The perimeter for this one is 22. And it's just meters because it's distance. Okay, so it's just meters. Whereas the area, we'll call it A. We already did this, so it's the length times the width. So that'll be 9 times 2, which is 18 meters squared. And remember to include the square here, okay? That's important. Because this shows how many square meters we can fit. Well, this is just the distance we move. Okay, hopefully that's clear. So if you want to try and get the perimeter of this shape here now. Okay, so that would be 8 plus 5. Okay, I'm just going to pause 1 second. Okay, so that would be 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. So that's 5 plus 8 is 13. Plus 8 is 21. Plus 5 is 26 centimeters. And again, just not to confuse it, now try and get the area. So we already did this, but if you try and get the area again now, what would that be? Okay, so that would be 8 times 5, which would be 40. And what's the unit? It's centimeters squared. Okay, so that's important. I'm going to pause the video here and continue now working with triangles and more irregular shapes going forward. Okay, so I'll leave it for now.